All right, one of the questions that I get asked a lot is how long will the mycomaterials last? And that depends entirely on how you prepare them, where you put them, what you do with them, if you treat them afterwards, all of these kinds of things, right? The material itself can be made of more than just, say, sawdust and mycelium. You could include other things like coffee grounds or clay, and all of these materials will affect how long it's going to last. Now, the more organic material that you have that could potentially be food for bugs or other microorganisms, such as other fungi, bacteria, the less time it is going to endure in any environment, because the material that it's made of can become food for these organisms. So if you want a mycomaterial that's going to last for a very long time and it's going to be exposed to the elements and things of that sort, you're going to want to include something perhaps a little less nutritious, right? You're not going to want to include a lot of wheat flour and a lot of coffee grounds that are high in nitrogen and all of that, because other organisms might want to eat it. You could include clay. You could include concrete mix. That would make a really strong, pretty crazy mycomaterial. Now, if you do just sawdust and mycelium, you're going to end up with a strong yet easily compostable mycomaterial. And that is what I have today. That is what I'm going to demonstrate for you. So these mycomaterials right here are different strains of Ganoderma. There's Ganoderma sinensis, there's Ganoderma Lingzi, there's a Ganoderma wild from the jungles of Brazil. I've got a Trametes sanguinea, Pycnoporus sanguineus. And as you can see, these are all a year old. They are getting covered in bugs, and they are turning to dust. Mycomaterials do not last forever. I did not proof any of these after making them. I did not cover them in anything, and they have been sitting exposed to the sun, ambient humidity, and temperatures above 34 degrees Celsius. We're going into the hundreds Fahrenheit here all the time. So they've really been exposed to elements, and they are absolutely crawling with bugs. In fact, we're going to need a close-up of that before I destroy them. So right here you can see it's full of holes. Bugs are coming in and out of this. And this was made from a Ganoderma wild from Brazil, from the jungles of Rio de Janeiro. And it formed a very nice leathery surface in parts, but once the bugs got in, they really started doing damage. I could barely handle this. Look how that's falling apart. So I'm saying, mycomaterials do not last forever. This is nothing but pine sawdust and mycelium. It was dried after being totally grown. So the mycelium is no longer alive. It hasn't been alive, but it is not able to endure these hot, humid conditions with free access from bugs. The ones that did last the best, this is the strain from Ecovative that they send out in the grow it yourself blocks. And it forms a very leathery exterior. It's very hard for organisms to come in and start to eat it. And you can see they've barely even tried. They've burrowed some holes, there's some ants crawling on it, but this beetle looking thing that's just destroying these other less cultivated, recently cloned from the wild samples, it does not even compare. It's like a skin. It literally is like leather. This stuff is amazing. It's really hard to penetrate, and it makes a great mycomaterial. Mycomaterials do not last forever. Yeah, some are going to stay stronger, some are going to fall apart. This is a heavily cultivated, selected for strain. This is first generation from being cloned from the wild, and they do not compare. So what you use to create your mycomaterial makes a big difference. If you're trying to make a mess, if you're trying to make something you can build with, something that's going to be exposed to the environment. It's not just strain that matters, what also matters is species. Here we have a Ganoderma. This is a Trametes sanguinea, Pycnoporus sanguineus. And again, it does not even begin to compare. It's tough. That was impressive. But this is crumbling. I make a mess. If I could explain myself, I would.